if you want to check it out, it plays anytime you want to watch it in terms of like interest. It's not like it's going to be dated because it's kind of a fake setup, but it was really cool. The simulation was real. So congrats. You took down Frazier. Frazier made some great moves though. Xavier Paul into the game, Chapman in the 8th, but then couldn't use him in the 9th. And then props to Kratzy. He was a star last night on NYY News TV's YouTube channel as we did the watch along with the Yankees game. And their community is hilarious, and a lot of them following us now. But here's the one thing I want to point out. We brought up the poll question from yesterday. You have one player to start your team. Who are you taking? And there's 3 of them, like with the sly remarks, and they go IKF.
He was the other. He was really the other.
I thought they would say Josh Donaldson or Aaron Hicks.
Well, Aaron Hicks is not really a joke anymore. He's legit.
They're looking to trade for him, actually, as Yankee fans are looking to trade for Aaron Hicks.
Yes. Aaron Hicks is on fire. Had a huge night again last night. But let's charge the damn mound, because I think that every single day until they lose, we might have to bring up the Reds during this segment. It is not 1, not 2, not 9, but 10 in a row for Cincinnati. Are you kidding me? And oh, by the way, I forgot. Russell Dorsey's joining us in 15 minutes.
Who's a 10?
He's a 10. Yep. Lucy Burdge, 10, joining us 10 minutes to the next hour. And then in hour number 2, Zack Wheeler, congrats on hitting 10 years of service. And Ty France, who we were watching in yesterday's game. So anyway, AJ, the Cincinnati Reds winning streak will end at what number?
They're going to win today.
Okay.
So let me look who they play tomorrow is my question. Who they got tomorrow?
They are losing right now, I will say, live 2-0 in the bottom of the second, but they've got 2 on. I'm good though. They're still going to win. And then they're next
tomorrow, and then Braves Friday, June 23rd. Book it, cook it.
That's when they lose. Yeah, Luke Weaver on the mound Friday.
I don't care who's pitching. They're playing the Braves. It's going to be rough. Although, if this game continues on the trend it's on right now, I might be able to say they're going to lose today.
Wow. What a predictive analysis you have there.
Really hard hitting there. So,
also, my home run pick today is Randy Arozarena, just for the record.
Don't give it away.
Doesn't apply.
Yeah, it's fine. Joey Votto has not messed up the vibes yet. I got asked that on a Toronto radio station that I was on earlier today doing a guest appearance. And they were like, how does Votto fit in? I was like, just fine. Did you see him in game 1? Think they're good. And, more veterans coming back for them soon. But depth is a good problem. I think, if anything, for this team, AJ, the good part of having a few of those veterans coming back is that if the young guys hit struggle city, which not all 5 young dudes on this team right now that are playing regularly are going to go well, they actually have someone that can step up, and they can either, sit them aside for a little bit, send them down, bring them back up. So that helps the cause.
No, I agree. And when we had this conversation the other day, we never said that Joey Votto wasn't going to fit in. We kind of said you have to be careful because they're so hot. You're bringing him back in the middle of a winning streak. Joey Votto can fit in. He's a veteran guy. He's got a chance to go to the Hall of Fame. And if he does like he did the first game, hitting homers, driving in runs, he's going to be fine. It's just always it's a slippery slope because you're so hot and you have such a momentum. You don't want to put a guy in, and it wouldn't have been Joey Votto. It would have been anybody, and have them just change the dynamics of what they had going. But the way, from what I've seen from Joey Votto the first couple games, he's fitting in perfectly. He's having fun with the young guys, and he's enjoying the energy, which is what you want. You don't want a veteran guy or someone to come back and change the energy. You want him to embrace it, enjoy it, and be a part of it instead of being separate from it.
Yeah, I don't have to do it. I'm just going to be who I am. This is my team. No, I don't feel like. Even in spring training, Votto was already he was running those skits, and he was a talent show host. So he gets kind of his role. And I think we said that day, maybe not so much Votto, because Votto's skill set really comes into play with a team like this that already has a ton of energy and a ton of life. Now we just get some professional at-bats from him that the guys can feed off of. Will Myers, on the other hand, is going to be tough to fit in. But again, when guys start struggling, maybe don't even need to send them down. Maybe they just can go ahead and be like, okay, I'll give you a blow here. Who we putting in? Oh, Will Myers. It's not a tough, you're not digging the depths of your minor league system to fill out the roster like the Reds used to have to do. And Ellie De La Cruz just does another thing. So there's, it's all Reds. Everything's coming up Reds right now.
And not to be outdone, the San Francisco Giants have won 9 games in a row, and most of the country is not talking about it. I feel like I do this every couple weeks. I'm like, are we talking about the Giants enough? Even if we don't believe in them, and I know we've covered them here and there on the show, they've won 9 games in a row. And the reason, in my mind, no one's talking about them is from a national perspective, everyone's talking about the Reds, really. I mean, they've called themselves America's team. AJ, why aren't the Giants America's team? I mean, they're not like this power-packed superstar bunch. Sure, they spend more than Cincinnati, but they've been trying to land a franchise player for years, and they can't, right? And you go back years now, they're going for Giancarlo, and it probably worked out for the best for them in terms of Giancarlo's consistency on the field. They tried for Bryce Harper. They most recently tried for and successfully landed Carlos Correa and were blocked by their own doctor. They just can't find a franchise player.
Well, they were so lucky for so many years. They had that guy, and his name was Barry Bonds, and he just hit homers all the time. And then they got lucky, and they got Buster Posey, who was a franchise guy. And they still have Brandon Crawford, who might not be that level of superstar, but he's pretty good. He's won some World Series and done a lot of good things for the Giants. They're just looking for that next guy. And the one thing the Giants have done great is called up their young guys, much like the Reds. Their winning coincided kind of with when they brought up their young core. They fit in perfectly, again, with the veteran guys, with Crawford, with Jock Peterson, and their pitching has improved. The reason no one's talking about the Giants is because they're out on the West Coast, and as we all know, there's a little bit of an East Coast bias because people go sleep. But the Giants are on fire. They've walked the Padres off the last 2 days. Their bullpen is really good. And the thing is, Gabe Kapler, we've talked about it, deserves a lot of credit. And when you mention that superstar player, Scott, be careful, because I believe now, after watching Gabe Kapler manage this team, he's better when he has more options. And he's not locked into one lineup. He's better when he can mix and match. Put this guy here, put this guy here, do this, do whatever he has to do, because then he can gain his platoon advantages, which we know the Giants love.
And you never know, like last year they went through kind of maybe what the Cardinals are going through with losing Yadier Molina. What does Buster Posey mean to that team? And now they're kind of, okay, other people are picking up the pieces and they're figuring out ways to win. I mean, newsflash, we're not talking about him much. Who has the second best run differential in the National League? The Gigantes.
It doesn't matter, though. Scott says it doesn't matter. So
I agree. I still think that. Yeah, that's not even you making fun of me or trolling me. Like, I actually am not a huge run differential guy. But no, it's good to see that they're winning games at a healthy clip. They also won 15-0 against the Dodgers this past weekend and counts as one. Just saying.
Sure, but they've won 9 in a row. Like,
yes.
9 in a row.
I'm not saying they're not legit.
Plus the run differential.
Run differential stuff.
Plus the run differential paints a picture of a team that's 2.5 out of a really, really exciting National League West with 4 teams with a positive run differential. And I think 4 teams that should be in it, especially if the Padres are now like playing games. Yes, I get it. Hader blew a game. That's fine. That's what happens when you're the closer. You're going to blow games.
Walking in a run, though, is tough. He's going to be kicking himself. No, I know it happens.
No doubt. I'll take him tomorrow. I'll take him tonight.
Oh, I agree. Hader's a top 5 closer in the game.
Oh, I was going to say he's not a top 5 closer.
Yes,
now.
he is. He is a top 5
I was going to say, Scott's going to say it.
He's not.
He's not a top 5 closer?
No. He's not. You're not going to say he's a top 5.
No,
you just said. You just said he is.
Yeah.
I was waiting for him to say it, though.
Scott's less of a troll when he's here at Club 352.
It's true. Back-to-back walk-off losses sucks for the Padres, too. That actually burns the most. That's my storyline here is I'm still not buying the Giants as this World Series contender, but the Giants being good, again, sucks for the Padres because this is supposed to be their year, and it's another team that's outperforming expectations. That's 2, right? I don't think anybody saw the Diamondbacks at this point being here. Not here, though. You thought they'd be better. You didn't think they'd be leading the division by 2.5. And then the Giants in second place, the Dodgers in third, and the Padres in fourth. That's the biggest problem for the Padres is the rest of the division.
Everybody's winning.
Yes.
Everybody's good. And Jock Peterson's lining himself up to possibly be the best free agent bat available outside of a hitter and a pitcher that's available in free agency.
Yeah.
But he's almost got a 900 OPS.
Wow.
Jock Peterson. What team wants Jock Peterson? Cardinals?
A team that needs someone that can hit righties only.
Also, playoff teams, please. Okay? He's a playoff
Pearls.
guy. It's called
Pearls.
Jocktober.
Pro.
So before we hit the poll question, just a couple things to clean up. Number one, this broke last night. Will Myers was designated for assignment.
He gone.
So he gone. He's been out for a while, right?
We don't have to worry about him ruining the chemistry in Cincinnati.
No,
Not
the
anymore.
shoulder issue, and then he had the kidney stone. But I mean, he's hitting a $189, 141 plate appearances. They've got too many dudes on the roster. And then number two, great call in the chat by our dude. I believe Toasty pointed this out. The Tyler Mahle trade last year with the Twins, the Reds got back Spencer Steer, who's been great, a prospect, Steven Hazard. I'm sure I'm going to mess that up. And then also this dude named Christian Encarnacion Strand, who looks like he's going to be a beast. He's cut down the Ks, the chase. I started locking in on some of his deeper numbers yesterday. He's improving in all the spots that you'd want a swing and miss guy to improve in. So that trade officially goes to the side of the Reds, just like the Marlins won the trade with Pablo Lopez and Luis Ariz, who's hitting close to 400. Anyway, let's get to our first poll question of the day. On your screen is a QR code for the stadium crowd or the YouTube crowd. Okay, go to your browser and type in watchstadium.com/foul territory if you'd like to play in that way. The question starts with the best stadium to watch a ball game in. And some Reds fans are going to be like, well, it's Great American Ballpark right now because it's a vibe. But in terms of the actual structure of the park, is it Wrigley, Fenway, Camden Yards we put on here? That's my fave. Oracle Park in San Francisco, or Scream at Us, as in other, and you can throw something else out there. Some other write-in candidates would be what? Like Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh's beautiful view of the city. Charlotte in AAA, beautiful view of the city.
Charlotte.
Come on.
AJ, say the one that you said in the meeting on the West Coast.
San Diego? Oh, Oakland? Yeah, everybody gets a foul ball.
Hey,
that is kind of awesome.
That's awesome. Everybody wants a foul ball.
Here's my thing about Wrigley. And I know Wrigley is a great place and everyone goes to watch it. You could say this however you want. It was so much better before they put the other scoreboards in. The new scoreboards ruined it for me.
Yankee Stadium does not qualify for me. But, hey, if you've got comments, throw them in the YouTube chat. Otherwise, get involved in the poll. We'll come back with Russ Dorsey and the disaster in the White Sox game yesterday.
Today is June 21st, the first day of summer. Here are some things that have happened on this day in baseball history. On this date in 1939, a Yankees icon hung up his cleats for good. Lou Gehrig, the man who'd become known as the Iron Horse for his staggering 2,130 consecutive games played, announced his retirement. His record would endure for over half a century, a testament to his tenacity. Fast forward to 1964. On a Father's Day matchup at Shea Stadium, a defining moment occurred in the career of Phillies pitcher Jim Bunning. He achieved perfection on the mound, delivering the first regular season perfect game since Charlie Robertson's back in April of 1922. Don Larson had also thrown a perfecto, but his came during the 1956 World Series. On June 21, 1970, Detroit's Cesar Gutierrez etched his name in the annals of baseball history. He went 7 for 7 in a single game, tying a record set way back in 1892. It's especially remarkable considering Gutierrez would only muster up 7 more hits in the entirety of the following year, ending his career with a total of 128 hits. Lastly, on this day in 2016, Erik Kratz made a unique mark in MLB history. Earlier in the season, he'd stepped in to pitch an inning for the Astros during a tough game against the Angels. Later that same year, now with the Pirates, he found himself on the mound once again, throwing a scoreless 9th inning in relief. This feat made Kratz the first player in the modern era to both catch and pitch for 2 teams within the same season. And now, back to foul territory.
We are back on Foul Territory, live on Stadium and on YouTube, and we are about to pop off. And some people in the chat were like, are you not going to mention the White Sox game? We're going to mention the White Sox game. I'm sorry. The White Sox Rangers game gets its own segment, and it is called pop off.
Did I miss something? Did something happen?
Yeah, you missed the fact that it's so ridiculous that we need Cookie Pop and Candy Pop to help us absolutely dunk on this entire situation. AJ, you're going to kick things off for us, and we'll show you some screenshots. We'll mix in maybe some quotes, but Elvis Andrus wins the night for scoring a run because you damn catchers can't stop blocking the plate. Get out of the way for once so base runners can do their thing and show off their Trey Turner fancy slides. Elvis Andrus was robbed of the perfect slide, and he ended up getting the run scored because instant replay overturned it, and nobody on the planet expected that to happen. And they've actually been somewhat consistent to not make a call like this. No? You haven't seen something this bad in a while. Like, this one stood out. Everyone's like, oh, this is fine. Like, run's not going to score. No big deal. And then the whole world was shocked. The White Sox were shocked. What happened, AJ?
They called Jonah Heim for blocking the plate, which this isn't quite Jim Joyce, Armando Galarraga, perfect game, horrible call that'll live forever. This is more Jerry Meals calling Julio Lugo safe in the 19th inning, even though he was clearly out against the Pirates because he wanted to go home. This is that bad. This is one of the worst calls that I've ever seen. Because what the fuck, I said it, is Jonah Heim supposed to do? And this is one of the worst rules we ever put in baseball. Buster Posey got hurt. We changed the rule because of one guy getting hurt. Run over the damn catcher. Let the catcher block home plate. Jonah Heim, the still shot shows him on the backside of home plate when the throw comes. He then has to go get the ball. He steps across home plate. Elvis Andrus can slide right between them. There is a lane. He tags him out. There's a lane to the inside. Now, the fact that Elvis Andrus didn't have his boy behind him, showing him to slide to the inside, that's on the White Sox. But the fact that an umpire, and I don't know who the umpire was that was in New York, that is an absolutely horrific call. And I'm a White Sox fan. They won the game because of it. That is one of the worst calls I have ever seen in my life, especially replay assisted. And then Bruce Bochy coming out to argue at all of half a mile an hour in his jog is also amazing. And be thankful, MLB, that I wasn't the catcher in this game, because not only would have Bochy been ejected, I would have been ejected, and there probably would have been some things ejected from the dugout that I was throwing on the field. So just an absolute disgrace. And why was this even reviewed in the first place? It's an absolutely horrible job by Major League Baseball and whoever the umpires were in New York.
Agreed. I mean, it's
Hey.
If somebody was at the game, they could tell us what happened.
Only someone knew that this was going to happen, so they casually strolled over to the Rangers-White Sox game last night. Our boy Russ Dorsey from Stadium joining us. So was the stadium all like, when they heard that?
Well, you see there was nobody in the ballpark that thought that rule was going to go the White Sox way. You hear Benetti and Stone shocked on broadcast. It's a bad call. Like, you guys opined perfectly, AJ. You opined perfectly on that. And I like the still shot of the overhead where you see Jonah Heim on the right side of the plate, giving Elvis Andrus almost 80% of the plate. Then when the throw comes in, he shifts to the other side of the plate where 80% of the plate is available. Do I think the rule is bad, like AJ said? No, I want to keep guys like Kratzy and AJ healthy, and so that guys can play their entire careers and not get hurt. I understand that you guys played in a different era where you could run over the catcher and you had a lot of equipment on that other guys don't have. And so you want, and AJ, I know you want to get physical with guys at the plate. I get it, but it's just a bad call. It's a bad call, and I think it's the exception, not the rule.
It's a terrible call. I mean, it's not even like. I'm more of an accountability guy. Like, why do we not have some kind of accountability? And I get it. Hearing AJ pop off, AJ's like, I would have been throwing stuff out of the dugout. Now the next time AJ has whatever umpire was in New York, clearly by himself, going like, he's on his, wait, there's a play? Hang on one sec. This is my chance. Hey, Mom, check it out. I'm going to totally blow this call for no apparent reason at all. And it just, like, there just needs to be accountability. And did you go to the presser after the game, Russ?
I didn't.
Okay.
So I didn't know what was there and what was said about the ruling. But I think it's one of those days where there's a call from New York that was made to the Rangers today, right? Where you say, hey, that wasn't called the correct way. It's like in the NBA where you have the last 2-minute call where it's like, oh yeah, we kind of screwed that up in the fourth quarter that cost you the game. I imagine that call was made today.
Yeah, but it's like they screwed it up, but they go to replay and they screwed it up. Not like, I see, like, you got to be definitive. Like, it's not like on the play, it is really tough. We complain about it all the time. How can that guy get it wrong? Stuff's happening super fast. It is happening super slow in New York, and they screwed it up.
Yeah, I think this is one where the letter of the law, it was called correctly. Because I'm assuming if there's any portion of the catcher's foot on the plate, that counts as blocking the plate. And that doesn't seem right. It's one of those like, hey, a guy could steal second base, but if he pops off the bag by a millimeter, then he's out. Right? It's like, no, he beat that tag. But is there something that you can do about it? No, it's one of those you got to take it on the chin until they change the rule about any part of the catcher blocking the plate is considered blocking. But when you have the entire world see that play, when you got still shots, when we got 80 frames in ballparks now, when you have the replay review in New York that's supposed to get these calls right, and then you still get it wrong, and then you have the opposing team's broadcast saying how wrong it was, even though it went their way, that's when you have some issues.
What? But is that I didn't know that is the rule? Like, you can't have any part of your pinky toe on home plate?
I think from what I understand, if a portion of your foot is blocking some part of the pathway, what is considered the pathway, then it would be blocking. I could be wrong about that, but from how I understand the rule, that's how it was called last night. So until there's something that says it's not that, that's how everybody is seeing what they ruled last night.
So, Russ,
yes,
the thing is, as a former catcher, I was there in 2014 when they implemented this rule. We were told you start inside off the plate, and then wherever the throw takes you, you go. The throw took him there. He didn't just move because he wanted to move and stand there. He moved to the ball, and he actually did it right. He jumped all the way across, and the whole inside was – this is on the White Sox, like I said, in the pop-off, because there was nobody telling him, inside or outside or whatever it was, and he slid directly in. And then, where's the umpire in New York coming out? And this is for all of Major League. I'm not talking about just this rule, because this rule has been stupid since the day they enforced it, because I got run over plenty of times. You know what I did? I got up and walked away from every single one of them because I knew how to block the plate properly. And I was like, let's go, boys. Bring it. You want some of me? We'll get it. You're going to run me over, and I'm going to go flying, but I'm going to get up because I'm going to get my feet out of the ground, and I'm going to be fine. But where's the umpire in New York? I don't know who it was. Can we get who the umpire in New York was? Can we get them to come on and explain it? Can we get like they do in the NFL where they have a ref on the TV broadcast? I know it's 30. There's 15 games going. It's hard to have one on every. But can they have a centralized umpire in New York come on and the broadcast and call in and say, hello, Jason Benetti, Steve Stone. This is what we saw. This is what we called, and this is why we called it. And they click, it ends it. Okay, that's why. Like on the NFL. Gene Sarator and the other guy are on there, and they say, this is what I see, this is what he's going to see, and this is why it's called. Boom. And everyone's like, okay.
It's one of those moments where you wish it was almost a national game. Like I know on Friday Night Baseball on Apple, we have 2 umpires that for situations just like that. So for people at home that don't know what's being talked about, in the headset when they go over and the guys come out on the field and they're talking to New York about what's being seen, what's being called, they are talking about a lot of those things. So, yeah, I think a better explanation of why something was called is what you're asking for, right? Like for somebody to come out and say, hey, this is what was called, this is what the rule says, and this is why we made that. I don't know if you're going to necessarily get that. That sounds, in a perfect world, that's what we probably should have, but I don't know necessarily how you would implement that in 15 games a night over 7 months.
No, I agree. I unfortunately, that's the world we live in, right?
Yeah.
So is this the game that gets the White Sox going? Is this the call that gets them going? Is this the call? Can they look back on this when they win the division in September, October, and they say, That guy in New York, man, he got us going on that Elvis Andrus calls, and AL Central champs are going to lose in the first round.
I have a hard time believing that, AJ. We talked about the White Sox back the first week of the season, and we said for them to be a really good team this year, guys would have to stay healthy. They have not. Guys would have to produce. They have not. The starting pitching would have to carry them. They have not. They have a team OPS. I mean, a team on base percentage of 293.
Is that not good?
They are last in all of baseball in on base percentage.
So they're number one. They're number one.
They're number one at not getting on base. Yes, if
Exactly.
you want to put it that way, that's exactly what it is. Some things that I saw yesterday that Eloy Jimenez, hitting a homer to the opposite field. Usually when he gets going, he's driving the ball in the ballpark that way. But they're just so inconsistent, like every other team in the AL Central. But I just don't know with the White Sox if they can get on a consistent enough run where they rattle off 20 games of playing 700 baseball.
Russ, you just need to tell AJ the truth. You don't have to sugarcoat it, candy pop it for him. The truth is, on this play, AJ brought it up twice. Nobody was out there telling the runner where to slide. This is a big league baseball team that doesn't do things consistently right, so they will not be good. And yes, you can point out the OP, the on-base percentage, low OPS, all that stuff. Until they choose or have somebody that can lead them to making plays consistently right, they won't do it. They don't do things consistently well from a baseball standpoint. And this play exemplified it. And it still went their way. But no, he's gonna have red hair later in the year because the Red Sox are gonna have a better record than the White Sox, and I love this part.
I think when you think about the last 4 or 5-ish years of White Sox baseball, they weren't the most fundamentally sound baseball team, right? And I think the play last night is a small piece of that. But if you look at it in totality of the last couple of seasons, it is stuff like that would usually go against the White Sox and went in their way last night. But that's one of the reasons they brought in Pedro Grifol, right? Like with Tony La Russa, they didn't feel like guys are really locked in fundamentally and doing the small things that you need to do to win. And I think with the White Sox, especially this season, if you're a good team, you can get away with some things because the talent is going to win out at the end of the day. For a team like the White Sox that are trying so hard to get something going, the margin for error is so small for them. You can't afford to miss the cutoff man, right? You can't afford to get thrown out at third base with less than 2 outs. You can't afford not being behind the plate telling your guy to get down because let's say that goes against the White Sox and they end up losing that game. That's something you look back on like, hey, the little things to win. And so, yeah, Krause, I think you can look at it and say they don't do a lot of the things that good teams do to win ball games. And how do you do that? Because now you've changed managers 2 times, right? You go from Ricky Renteria, Tony La Russa to Pedro Grifol. And at some point, it ain't the manager's fault.
Nope, for sure.
So this is not a playoff team, the White Sox. I mean, and if they were in any other division, it would just be a clear how many guys are we trading away right now when we get to the deadline. To me, this is an opportunity to shape the franchise again and get the next great White Sox players, Russ, because there are not many sellers right now. And some of the sellers that we thought were going to be there are actually like Cincinnati leading the division. And I think they're going to buy more. So with the White Sox specifically, they actually have a ton of players that would be very valuable in deals. And I think you can get a ton at the deadline because there are going to be so many desperate teams that will say, I really don't want to give this prospect away, but if I don't, I'm getting nothing. And my fan base and my players are going to destroy me. So when it comes to Giolito, Graveman, maybe even Cease, Tim Anderson, go down the line, there's probably 6 to 8 guys where I think this current construction of the White Sox has proven that it is not going to be this dynasty powerhouse. I'm going to get to the playoffs every year type of ball club. They really had just one baby run. So Don't you think that they should be all the talk over the next month and a half?
Yeah, Rick Hahn should pick up his phone a lot over the next 4 weeks. And I think you look at starting pitching. Starting pitching is really expensive, right? In free agency, but during the season, especially with the extra wild card, as you mentioned, Scott, there's a lot of teams looking around like, hey, man, we only a couple of games back in that second wild card spot. We're good money. I think what happens with that is you got to be really realistic now with that second wild card spot, because there's some teams that are not playoff teams, right? There are teams that are not a true contender, but you could probably talk yourself into it if you look at the standings and say, we're only 4.5 games back with 2.5 months to go. If we stand pat, maybe we add a little bit, maybe we can make a push. I think for the White Sox, you look at the starting pitching, Giolito on an expiring deal. Lance Lynn obviously has the player option, and he's a guy, if he pitches like the Lance Lynn that struck out 16 and not like the Lance Lynn that we saw for the first 2 months of the season, that's a guy that's very valuable, has some postseason experience. Kendall Graveman in the back, and Joe Kelly maybe. Do I think they trade Tim Anderson? My gut says no, but then again, it's a guy who's going to be a free agent after the end of next season, so maybe there is value there. Is it more valuable in the offseason? Maybe so, but that's a guy that still also has to build up some value because he hasn't played his best baseball here in 2023. So they definitely have pieces to move, and I'm with you, Scott. Like, for a team that we thought was going to go on a run for a couple of seasons, they had maybe one or two before that ended and that window closed. You probably should start thinking about the future again. And I know White Sox fans don't want to hear that, like AJ and my dad, but we got to have those conversations.
Hey, I'm all for whatever helps them win for a long time. I don't want a team that 1 year and then, off a cliff. Like, yeah. I want to figure out a way to build for a long time. My question is, what value does Tim Anderson have? He has this many homers, Russ. Do you see how many? As many home runs as you have in your career and Scott combined.
Yeah, but AJ, just like last week when I was kind of slipping and I was off my game, and what did I do? I went to Kratz's. It's called a change of scenery. I don't think at, 29 years old, he's done. I don't think that's the case.
I'm just saying you want to trade him now, though, when his value is an all-time low.
Well, but he's only got a year and change left on his deal with the White Sox, Russ.
And then, that's why I would say if you don't trade him this year, you let him build back some of that value over the rest of the season. He gets healthy, starts hitting. This guy won a batting title a couple of years ago. And so you look at the resume and you're like, all right, Tim Anderson's going to hit. It's the thing he's been able to do since he got the big leagues. He's going to be able to run the bases well. The defense has been shaky here in 2023. Maybe that's a focus thing. That's something you can try to fix the rest of the way. And then if a deal comes to you in the offseason, maybe you make a move then, maybe you don't, and then you trade him at the deadline next year. But you have more time as far as Tim Anderson goes than you do for Lance Lynn or Lucas Giolito, where the tenure is probably over when you're looking at where the White Sox are. I think with TA, you still have a little bit of time to decide what you want to do.
Okay, Russ, let's get your answer to our first poll question. Best ballpark in the bigs, or at least for you, where would you want to go if you've got one spot to go to?
I literally had this conversation with somebody at the ballpark yesterday. I am going to say Oracle Park in San Francisco. It's one of those things where I'm a Midwest kid. I love the cool temperatures at first pitch. It's around 55, 60 degrees. You have the marine air. You have the birds flying around the ballpark. It's a beautiful scene. They got the garlic fries there if that's what you're into. I love that ballpark. Having McCovey Cove in the background, the brick. They brought in the fences a little bit so you see the ball fly a little bit more. But I would say that's probably my favorite ballpark in the big leagues.
Russ, that shoe over your left shoulder, is that Jordan 7?
This here? That is not.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. It looked like it was. Because I was at the store yesterday and I picked these up for you. You see the colors?
Okay, I see you. Listen, AJ, if anytime you want to deliver your boy.
I got these just because of that Men's College World Series game we didn't get to talk about. The colors?
You know what? I'm glad you brought this up, AJ. My ORU Golden Eagles got bounced by TCU yesterday. Yes, they did. But listen, man, we're a small baseball community at ORU. Small community. It's me, my guy Jose Trevino, Jordan Romano. We all went to school together. So, it's just the three of us, representing. And then I had guys text me, hey, man, you coming to Omaha? I can't. I got to do my show. But I'm really proud of those guys. They made it. They went a long way. right, in the College World Series. First time since 1978 that they got there. I don't think this is going to be their last time. Congrats to Ryan Fulmer, pitching coach Wes Davis. They represented very well at the College World Series.
I agree. I give you and your boys a lot of credit. Nice showing by the boys at Oral Roberts. Russ, great to see you, dude. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you. And visit cookiepopcandypop.com and enter code FOULBALL for 20% off. And as you're going there, you can curse and be like, F you, MLB. Let the ump speak to us and explain himself. This is ridiculous. And then you can take a big bite of Cookie Pop Candy Pop. Be right back.
At least I can't hit into a double play with 2 outs.
You want to do anything? You're just swinging away here?
I mean, I was going to have him steal, but I guess not.
Uh-oh. We have a question. Do you want to signal Aaron Rowan to round second base?
Yeah.
And go for third? It's shallow. Rowan's fast. Yes? All right. So
wait. Hold on. Wait.
What?
Round second. I guess he's going. Oh, dude, where that ball is.
Jay Bruce has a great arm, and you're good.
Top of the lineup. Go ahead. Swing away. I'm good.
AJ, you good?
Yeah. No, I'm good.
You're not a call for bunt guy?
He doesn't bunt. He didn't really bunt.
Right.
All you got to do is get it past pitcher. He's safe.
And he doesn't.
Yeah.
Goes to Cueto.
I got a mustache. I just noticed my mustache here. Handlebar.
They look good. Let's do this. Contreras against Todd, Father.
Here we go.
Need some life.
One time.
Oh, wait. I need a shift. Hold on. I need shift left. Everyone
left.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Let's go, Jersey.
Oh, he got a hit.
Let's go, Jersey. There it is.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. I'm here. Well, don't go to second.
Oh, he's into
yeah,
second.
Here we go.
Fast guy third.
Sure.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Send Forrest. There he goes running. And the throw is money. I mean,
yeah.
Gucci with 2 on. Big pitch here in the 9th. Skied, right field, and deep.
Joe.
Should have run in the writing. White Sox. That's why I win.
Freaking game.
No, this is absolutely.
The 05 Sox come back in the bottom of the 9th down 4-2.
Homer Bailey wasn't named Homer for nothing.
A 5 spot, and they take it 7-4. Wow. What just happened? FT Live back on Stadium, running on YouTube for you right now too with Kratz, Braun, and Pierzynski. First poll question coming to a close. Best ballpark in the biz right now. Russ said Oracle Park. Here's why I'm a hard disagree on that. Everything except for the part that he brought up at the jump is the weather. I don't want to watch a game in 50.
No,
I mean, I'm a 90-degree guy, so 50, no thanks. And in July, you're like, summer, kick back, and you're like,
nope.
Jacket, okay.
Freezing.
No.
Seals.
That's the problem. Everything else, nailed it. AJ, where's your spot?
Oracle.
Really?
It's off the place to watch.
That's your favorite?
To watch a game?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to do a broadcast from, Pittsburgh and Oracle are my 2 favorite. Because you have great views. And you're not too high, you're not too low, you're right perfect. Good booths in both. And in San Francisco, you're looking out over the bay. Pittsburgh, you're looking out over the river at the city. Those 2 they're pretty tough to beat. Like I said earlier, Wrigley for me, since they put the scoreboards in, it used to be awesome. You'd be catching, you could see the city and you could see the people out on the houses. They put those giant scoreboards up. You can't see anything but giant scoreboards now. I'm like, dude, you ruined the vibe.
Got to make that bread.
Dude, plus they took down the best sign in the world. The Emus Catulli sign that had all the numbers on it, except for when they reset it to 0. That sucked. But when it was like 0, 8, 10, 106, it was awesome to go there and be like, you guys suck for 106 years.
You know what big scoreboards mean? Big sponsorship deals.
Big money.
Just saying. For me, I'm a Camden Yards guy. It's got like the old school majestic, bringing MLB into the generation of sick ballparks that make you still feel like you're not necessarily in 2023. The brick, the food, for me is number one. So, and I know my diet's different, but what do you got?
I mean, as a player, I love playing in Fenway. Fenway was awesome. As a fan experience, I'm a tick too tall for some of the seats in there. My knees go in the back of somebody's shoulders. Fan experience, I really love parks that you are right on top of the field, how everything goes straight up. Mm-hmm. So I love watching games at Citizens Bank. If you sit up high enough behind home plate in Philly, you can see the skyline in Philly as long as the smoke isn't covering the skyline. That's not it.
Yeah,
you love Minnesota then. You love Minnesota then.
Minnesota's
skyline.
I've never
straight up.
And it's Minnesota Stadium has like the smallest footprint of any stadium in MLB. And I love that. I love that feel. I love Milwaukee's feel. They're both like short and straight up. And it feels like everybody's on it. For a dome, I'm definitely taking Milwaukee.
What?
Best one.
Over Seattle?
For sure.
Oh,
Seattle's just too big.
You have too much Brewer love in you, buddy.
I do.
It's Philly love.
It's deep.
Yeah, and
it's deep. I'll admit it. I'll admit it.
Yeah.
Well, Brewers Field is awful.
No. American Family, Miller Park Brewery connection.
Drippy roof, rainy roof, bad shadows. Yeah.
I'm not bougie. I'm not bougie like you, where I need it to be able to make sure everything is perfect.
I need my champagne and caviar.
Yeah.
Well, it's been back and forth, Camden and Wrigley for the poll. And let's bring up our next poll, which is the Scotty B special. And again, you can vote. Please vote, especially on this one, by scanning the QR code, or you go to watchstadium.com/foul territory, and you can vote on this question. Should umpires be demoted after bad calls? Yes, no, 3 strikes, and you're out. I actually like that. 3 strikes and you're out, right? So if you fuck up 3 times.
3 is too little. Because players don't screw up. You can
not,
tell.
Not ball strike calls. Like,
no.
If you have one of those plays from the other night and you let that happen, or
you're not going to get 3 of those.
You need to go to arbitration or something and defend yourself. Like, we need to hear from these people. MLB has an accountability issue. They're moving cities, and the owner doesn't have to speak. And yet you get community dollars from both cities for years. And you don't have to speak. You can just be behind the scenes like this evil bad guy in a movie. And it's the same thing with the umps. For me, whether it's an MLB thing or an ump union thing, umps, for your union even, it's better if you let the guy speak. Like, even when Lance Lynn had rough times and he comes on the show and says, I fucking suck right now, that's good for the sport. It's good for your character. We want human beings.
Just be honest.
Human beings speak, though.
Yep.
Just throwing that out there. All right, 2 other things I wanted to hit on. Number 1, just a quick shout out to Matt Olson, so I don't forget it. He was on the show yesterday. What did he do?
Danger.
Yeah. FT Magic.
It was me.
It was you, because you carried that interview. You're
AJ brought him in.
You know what I did? I introduced him to the breakfast cheesesteak he's never had.
Yeah, you have to.
He's probably crushing one. He probably crushed one this morning.
So good.
And then Marcus Stroman again. You want to win money? Just bet on Stroman days. Also, are you kidding me? The line kept moving yesterday, but I think it started at like minus 125 money line for the Cubs. I'm like, is this a joke? I'm like, is something wrong with Stro? Yeah, 7 shutty, 5 hits, 5 Ks, and he is a 2.28 ERA leading the National League. So, ready for this, AJ? The starting pitcher for the National League in the All-Star game will be Marcus Stroman, and then he will be traded 10 days later.
Yeah, I can't fight it. He's been really good, like really good. And that sinker plays anywhere, even in Wrigley, even in that NL Central with all those small ballparks. That sinker is just going, whoo. And you know what the best part about Marcus Stroman is? Because I ain't playing anymore and I don't have to face him or watch him. His act, his confidence, his let's go, boys, jump on. Hell yeah. You know why? Because if I was in the other dugout, I'd be like, screw you, dude. I'm coming after your ass. But I ain't playing anymore. Go get him, Stros. Do what you do, buddy.
Are you afraid, AJ, if you're a team that's like, I need starting pitching, I gotta trade for Stroman, and they're probably going to think, okay, we got to extend him. Is he still the same guy when he's not in a free agent opt-out type of situation?
I would want to think he is. I don't think his attitude has changed over the years, has it?
No. And
I think he's always been that way. He's always been
I think he's
cocky, confident, whatever you want to call it. Same dude. He's like, I'm coming. And I don't think it's going to change where he goes. Heck, I think he might go up. The only thing you worry about now with the sinker ball guy, if Kratz, you know this, they get excited because they're like, oh, I got to pitch good. So what am I going to do? I'm going to try and throw it harder instead of throwing it slower and letting it move more. So that's the one thing I would worry about.
It is moving like crazy right now. And normally you need a guy that's like not necessarily tall, but like a large hand that ball can really get enough pressure to be able to go that direction for him. And it's like video game-esque. He's not going to punch out a lot of guys. So whoever gets traded to, you definitely have to be able to play defense. But holy smokes, it is, as much as he's flashy, he is just putting up bagels almost every night.
And it is so consistently good right now. Stro Show, fun to watch. I'm all about it. Very entertaining. So we're coming back with Lucy Burdge joining us for our locks and a special announcement on FT. We banged our parlay. We'll get into it.
And now, back to foul territory.
Back on FT Live, Scott Braun, Erik Kratz, A.J. Pierzynski, and Lucy Burdge. Good to see you, Lucy. How are you today?
I am great. How are you guys? Look who decided to show up for one of my appearances, A.J. Pierzynski. It's great to see you again.
I know, Lucy.
Last time he was terrified, so I'm glad he got some balls and came back.
Oh, wow. There were some things that we weren't going to talk about, but your Red Sox are hot, and I've been riding your Brian Bayo picks a lot, so thank you for that. And tonight, my lock may or may not have something to do with the Red Sox, so we'll see how it goes.
Love that. This is very exciting. I'm so happy that I made the graphic and now we're friends again.
Yes, we can all be on the graphic today. See, we've got 4 slots. So you missed it last time, AJ. Lucy is official. It's official. FT official. She's on the graphic now. So, okay, 2 things I want to do first before we get into locks. Number 1, poll question. And Lucy, you can give us a response as we show the results here on Stadium. Should umpires be demoted for making bad calls? I mean, players, most people in their jobs, like you get dinged if you don't do things well. And yeah, maybe it's not, first time you fuck up, but your thoughts, the answers were either yes, no, or 3 strikes and you're out.
I think it should be, they should be. I think no 3 strikes, you get 1 strike and you're out. If you are bad at your job and fuck up as much as a lot of umpires do and as badly as some umpires do, then you should be demoted. There should be a system where like, yep, you're out of this umpire crew. If you fuck up so badly, then yes, you should be. And I think that it's 1 strike and you're out, not even 3 strikes. Get him out of here.
I like it. Hey, yes is winning right now in the polls. 3 strikes and you're out is like a very, very solid second, and almost nobody obviously is going to say, yeah, just let them do their thing. My thing is accountability. Just like, please explain.
Exactly. It's crazy that they don't. I think it's crazy that they're not, and they're not held accountable, and that it makes my blood boil.
These guys had to talk to media. Should have to talk to media too.
Exactly. There you go.
That's what they should have to do. They should have to stand up and face the media.
Yeah.
They should have to do it even more so than you did, because sometimes it hinges more upon their decisions than what you do on the field. So I think that's really outrageous, to be honest.
And even when we have bad picks, we still come on this show and we're still accountable about it. So let's show our parlay, because for the first time in the BetMGM app, our parlay was featured. There it is. It is gorgeous. We spent a lot of time yesterday morning making sure that we would hit it. And that was the game that Kratz and me were watching. We were doing a watch along with Yanks fans. Cole, 6+ Ks, Yanks money line, Glaber to get a knock, which was all Kratz. He got a knock in his first AB. Cole gave us a heart attack, but eventually got to 6 Ks, and the Yankees won. So you're welcome, America, and maybe the entire planet, for throwing that out there. That was awesome.
We didn't even spend that much time, it was an easy pick.
It was a you can get Cole, good 5 minutes.
Yeah. Anytime you can get Cole for 6 strikeouts and Glaber just needing to stay up the middle and a sinker slider guy, easy peasy.
And your locks also incredible from yesterday. Chicago's free money over the Pirates when Stroman's pitching. Arizona, Milwaukee, that was a big scoring game for AJ. And Lugo and DeSclafani, of course, got to 3 Ks each. Kratzy special. We are doing well. Kratzy's in the plus, even though record-wise, it doesn't matter. You want to put your money where your mouth is, go for it. AJ, 5 under, but he's probably going to go double or nothing at some point. And I'm up to almost a K, 33 and 24 on the ledger. Your BetMGM locks for Wednesday start with Lucy Burdge's pick. What do you got, Lucy?
Yes. So my lock, that's stunning, by the way. That's all beautiful. My lock is in the Red Sox game tonight. Justin Turner over 1.5 total bases. JT is bringing sexy back. He had 4 hits in his last 3 games, 2 hits in 2 of those 3. So he has been hitting this over quite a bit. And he will be facing Sonny Gray and the Twins against Sonny Gray in 11 at-bats in his career. Justin Turner has 5 hits, including 2 singles, 2 doubles, and a home run. So he has had success hitting this over against him before. I think he will do it again tonight.
Okay. I'm going on the other side of the ball, though, for the Red Sox. Okay. I'm taking the over in the Whitlock K prop, because they're facing the Twins. Twins strike out every time. It seems like they strike out 10+ every game. And Whitlock has strikeout stuff, so I think it's 5.5. And
yep,
so I'm taking that 5.5. And it seems like an easy one because, gosh dang, the Twins strike out so much.
Exactly. AJ, I am on that as well today. The over.
I love that too, AJ. I actually have Sonny and Garrett Whitlock. Sonny giving me 4 and Whitlock giving me 6 for plus 125. That's just a side little thing here, but I'm going to the Phillies game. Aaron Nola has never struck out less than 7 Atlanta Braves in the last, I forget how many years, against, facing the Braves. So I have Nola giving me 6+, and I have Smith Shawver giving me just 4+. And that's coming off at minus 115, and I'm going to put down 345 to win myself another.
Daddy Warbucks over here. Love that.
I'll go Mariners run line plus 105. Got to win by 2 or more. Luis Castillo's a stud. He plays up for big games, and that's Yankee Stadium for you. And the Mariners need a dub. I also just think their offense is super streaky. They're going to wake up against Brito. I don't like his ranks among XBA, like batting average, strikeout percentage, walks, all that. And Castillo's a stud. So I think this is a stopper game. I'll get the Mariners on. I mean, it might be low scoring, like 4-2, and Yankees offense is still kind of trash. So throwing that out there right now, without Judge, they're nothing. Here's how you can get involved on the swing or the free-to-play game on BetMGM. You log into the app on iOS or Android, and you can do this up until, your bonus bet. It runs if you just log in. Bonus bet pops up for you. So go into the BetMGM Sports app right now on iOS or Android or on the website, and all you have to do is log in and get your bet. So, Lucy, great to see you. Appreciate the time. Good luck on your bets tonight.
And Lucy,
thank you as well.
Before you go, keep the updates coming on the submarine because
I will. Oh, believe me, I will update you all on this.
You're all in.
All in. I've got it on every screen everywhere. And so this is a beautiful crop of bets, and I will keep being an eye on those and the submarine.
Thank you. Yes. Good luck, everyone. Let's get some cash tonight.
You.
All right. So for the stadium crowd, we appreciate you. Good to see you all on, and we'll be back every single day, 1 to 2 Eastern time. Coming up next on Foul Territory on the YouTube channel, we are going to talk to Zack Wheeler, ace for the Phillies. Let's keep running. Zack Wheeler joining us soon on FT Live. And we can give our home run picks real quick, too. Who's homering tonight? Who did you pick, AJ?
Freddie Free against Shohei, baby. Freddie Free has a knack for hitting homers against big-time starters, and no one qualifies for that more than Shohei. So, Freddie Free, my boy, let's go. Go deep off Shohei.
Or anybody split. He's gonna leave a split hanging, but that's okay because Shohei's gonna tie it back up with his own homer for my pick. So anything he can do, Shohei can do better.
And the fact that Kratz picked Kerry Carpenter to homer the other day means I'm obviously going to tell that shit. So I'm picking Ohtani too. This is an Ohtani day. I know it's just plus 275, but still, cash is cash. So let's go for it. So Zack Wheeler's going to join us soon, and then Ty France we'll have a conversation with as well coming up in just a bit on FT Live. I was actually asked about this, and I was like, hey, you said it, not me, when I did this Toronto radio appearance earlier today. They were like, we've been following a lot of the guests that you've had on. They seem to have a lot of success right after they come on the show. And I was like, wow, I appreciate that, FT Magic. Because they say, there's a lot of shows out there that are kind of fake about it. And they'll bring on a guest, and then like 1 out of every 10 will do something, and they'll be like, see, look, he's got it. We're not going to do that. Just watch the results. But most of the dudes we bring on, and it's not like, a week later. It's like, bring on Olsen, he homers. Bring on Bregman, he steals his first bag of the year. It's instant success. Just saying.
It's because AJ's got all these scouting reports from doing all these Saturday games of the weeks. Well, second game of the week, since AJ doesn't get the first game of the week. But he's got all this information, and he's just throwing up this information to these guys, and they're like, oh, AJ, I'll take this. I'll sit on the slider late in the game off a lefty that has like a 1.3 ERA, and Olsen will go deep almost to the third deck. Just so much knowledge right here. Like Ozzie Guillen said, you don't like this guy, but he has so much knowledge. He may be the smartest guy I know.
Hey, just for the record, since we have this whole thing going, since I picked Vlad Guerrero Jr. to win the MVP, can we get him on here like every week so he gets hot and lives up to the pick?
So your pick?
Yes. Can we get him on here like every other day?
Did you listen to my appearance? They literally said this verbatim. They go, so with that being said, when are you getting Vladdy Jr. on the show? I swear they said that. I'll post it later on Twitter because Vladdy doesn't have pop this year.
I know. What happened?
What's he at? What's his number right now?
He got 9, I think. 9 or 10.
Dude.
He's got such a line drive swing. I feel like his homers, he doesn't hit like the majestic, like the one that Olsen hit last night. He doesn't hit that. He hits absolute rockets that are sometimes just dub sacks. Like even a year, what did he have? 40? Did he get up to 40 that one year? The MVP-ish year?
Homers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I'll get you. You
never see that like absolute just majestic one. They're all backspun like they came out of a pitching machine. There's like Like your golf shot. It's
48 in that 2021 campaign.
How did I question that?
48.
That was your probably should have won the MVP, but Shohei won because he wins every year.
It's Shohei's award.
No. Shohei should have won that year.
He had Vladdy had a great year, but
it takes special years, and he had a special year.
Not a judge year, though, and Ohtani's numbers were close that year, hitting-wise, to Vladdy. And then it was like, oh, cool, he's also pitching like a 2.
Oh, my gosh, here we go. Well, I mean, if Vladdy pitched, he might have a 2, too. You never know.
Do you have Ohtani fatigue, AJ?
No, I don't have fatigue. I just have we can't give the award to the same guy every year because he plays 2 positions fatigue.
Why not?
Because everyone goes off award, everyone goes off this. Well, yeah, of course he's more valuable because he plays 2 positions. He's the best player in baseball. No doubt.
Well, that's like saying
no doubt.
Yeah. But you can still win the MVP every year.
Yeah, what year?
He's also probably the coolest player in baseball right now. And he's also the thing that the kids want to be the most like in baseball right now.
Sorry that he's amazing and he plays 2 positions at a premium level.
Sorry that you're arguing with the guy on your side.
I think
Trey Turner. Vladdy Jr. maybe should have won that year.
Yeah, I said maybe should have won that year.
No, there's no doubt that was Ohtani's year.
Okay.
Also, keep in mind, if he stays on this trajectory, he will win MVPs almost every year if he's healthy. But keep in mind, that was 2 years ago where he won it in 2021. That was the first time he won an MVP. He's only got 1. Last year, he did not win. So he's not winning MVPs left and right yet. He's not an MVP ace. You know, I need more MVPs.
He's definitely not an ace.
I mean, MVP ace is Barry Bonds. That's it. There's 1.
Yeah.
He just won all the MVPs.
Who has
the second
or third most MVPs?
It's 3.
Albert has 3, right? Trout has 3.
Albert, Trout.
Trout's an MVP ace.
Not anymore.
Yeah, I know, but
he still is.
He's still an MVP ace. Yeah,
he still is.
Have you seen his numbers?
I bet he ends with an OPS over 950.
He's got the lowest WRC plus stat for Scott. Of his career.
That's stat for me. I don't like that stat.
He doesn't like that stat.
Just talked about
he picks and chooses which ones he likes.
No, I do not like WRC plus.
Scott's giving you a Garrett Cole right now.
He's a.
Do not put that on me, okay? Because now Kratz can back me up because we're friends in the same spot. And one of our off-stream conversations was about WRC plus, and I think it's a bad sport for the game. Not because of what the sport entails and what it shows as a number. It's too clunky. It's so nerdy, and it sounds bad, and it scares others away. And it's so close to OPS plus, which is much easier to comprehend, that we should just nix the WRC plus. Whenever someone brings up WRC plus, I feel like other casual baseball fans are like, this guy's just trying to smart me out of the room right now.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. It's just not. It's not convenient. The lettering, the wording.
It's too much. The small W and then the big RC. It's too much. It's trying way too hard, and it's usually a point or 2 off for OPS plus, which most people now know what OPS is, and it's a much easier explanation for everyone. So
agreed.
I didn't think I'd get into that, but I just wanted to clarify.
And Trey Turner,
not a fan.
And Trey Turner is the coolest guy in baseball still.
No,
he's 100%.
Shohei's way cooler.
He's cool, but he's not as cool.
To the kids, Shohei's way cooler. And just for the record, Erik, I want you to know that when Scott is at my house, we don't have these conversations off the air. We do our job and we leave. That's it. I'm not cooking him dinner. I'm not hanging out.
That's true.
He's there. We work. We're work friends.
We talk shit though. We do
talk, but we're more work roomies than we are roomies.
That's not true. Well, I went on AJ's boat.
That was just because his girlfriend was there.
No, so you're just holding back a flex. Wait, our guest is ready to go, and I want to bring this question right to him. Zack Wheeler joins us right now from the Philadelphia Phillies. And first off, as we do, Zack, on this show and no other show on the planet, 10 years of service time, baby. Clap it up. Let's go. Congratulations. We know what that's all about, man. I'll get to that in 1 second. I just wanted to ask you, is Trey Turner, your teammate, the coolest dude in Major League Baseball? Slides alone probably win it for me.
Yeah, slides alone, put him up there at the top, that's for sure.
Awesome. What about Schwarbombs?
4 bombs, hits bombs.
Bryce,
Yeah.
you're gonna say Turner over Bryce? Uh-oh.
Oh, Bryce is my guy.
We got team detention going on here.
Yeah, I might have to hear from that later. I don't know. We got a good group of guys there.
Give me the lowdown. So, and for anyone that hasn't heard about this before, 10 years of service is a huge deal in Major League Baseball for a variety of reasons and benefits and celebrating. So, what happened on that day? What did the team do? And how excited are you about hitting a number like that?
Yeah, hitting a number like that's very special. Doesn't happen a lot. I was joking around with Nola the other day. I've actually just pitched 7 years in the big leagues. I've got 10 years of service though, so kind of cheated the system there, but a lot of DL time, but it's whatever. I got 10 years and very happy to get that. Like you said, there's a lot of perks that come with it. And I don't know, it's very cool. And, the guys, I don't probably eat the healthiest, but, I don't eat like total crap. But the guys, they brought in McDonald's after the game. So we had a bunch of cheeseburgers, a bunch of nuggets, and a bunch of fries for everybody to, eat.
Are you into that? You love a good, what would you go to? What would be your go-to fast food purchase?
Oh, man, it was tough. McDonald's tastes the same every time. You can't go wrong.
Okay.
Go get a large fry, get a couple cheeseburgers, 10-piece nugget. Yeah.
Do you dip the fry? Like, do you ever get like a milkshake and dip the fries in the milkshake? Or you're not one of those guys? You're not exquisite. You're just regular much. Georgia.
Yeah, that's too much.
That's too much?
Yeah, too much effort.
I heard Real Muto set that up. Is that true? And does he like that too?
Yeah, I heard he set that up too. I told him thank you just in case. I didn't necessarily ask him, but yeah, he's my battery mate and he knows me pretty well. So, I'm pretty sure he did order that for us and worked with our strength staff, and I'm sure they're happy to order that for everybody.
I'm sure the strength staff was super juiced about that. They were like in the back crying because you guys are having a good meal and you're not eating like broccoli and dried asparagus.
But it's protein. Burgers are protein.
Absolutely. Burgers post-game too?
Yeah.
Absolutely. You need that. I'm so glad that you got that. But my question is, when JT comes out to the mound, are you more excited after he's done talking to you because you get to see his calves walk all the way back? Like, are there better calves in the game than that?
No. Very impressive.
It's unbelievable.
Very impressive.
Like does he use them right though? Like, does he ever like have a hoop in the clubhouse that he like dunks on fools and then he like flexes his calves? Or do you send you like if I had calves like that, I would be always wearing shorts and I would always have my pants up and I'd be taking pictures and sending them to people. Does he ever do anything like that, or is he not? He always
wears shorts around the clubhouse. That's for sure. He doesn't go pants up much, which is kind of weird. If I had those calves, I'd be wearing pants up all the time. He can see him through his long pants anyway, so I guess that works also.
Yeah.
But he shows him off a little bit.
He's sexy. He is so sexy. Anyway, continue.
Wheels, do you like when because we got two catchers hosting the show today? Do you like when your catcher comes out to have a conversation with you, and does it ever truly help you?
It helps me more, slowing things down at this point. It's kind of just taking a breath. As much as I don't want them to come out there, it's probably best in certain situations. Come out, settle me down, talk with me, ask me what I want to throw. I say, I don't know. It's up to you. And then they get back to the conversation.
Incredible.
You don't know because you're just like, whatever you call, I'm that good. Because I've caught guys that are your level type of, fringe on the way to Hall of Fame types of pitchers that for me, it felt like a lot of pressure. Like, I'm like, oh man, this guy's really good. If he sucks when I'm catching, I'm never going to play. But then you have stuff. So you saying that you don't need to shake off because you believe in your stuff that much, or because you believe in JT that much?
I believe in JT that much, or Stubby. I just don't shake in general that much. Going back to even my Mets days, I just never really shook all that much. I trust my catchers. I see how much JT studies before the series, during the series, before the game. And I know he probably knows what he's doing back there. And, it's showing at this point in his career. So I trust him, and I just let him call the game. I do read stuff. If I see a swing or I've seen, a highlight of this guy doing, something against a certain pitch, or if I watch the game, day or two before and I see, a guy kind of swinging high, maybe I can sink the ball underneath his bat, like that type of stuff in a certain situation. So, for the most part, I let them call the game, but I also have the little pitch com thing on my belt if I need it.
Zach, let's be honest. You're not shaking off because you can any point can just rear back and go 98 four seam at the top of the zone. Oh, you can't hit it. Oh, here's 99 four seam top of the zone. You can't hit that one either. Oh, I'm not even going to waste time with the slider. I'm going to throw another one 98 at the top of the zone, strike three. So you don't need to shake off. It doesn't matter what JT studies. Let's get serious here as a catcher. Dude, if you could have that weapon, I guess what I'm calling. Hey, throw this one right here and watch this guy punch out on 3 pitches. All right, the guy might foul one off, but we're going at it again. So let's get a little more honesty out of you and just say, hey, I got the weapons. It doesn't matter what I throw. I'm coming to punch you out.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps. That's for sure. Always relying on the fastball kind of in your back pocket whenever you need it. Like you said, pitching up in the zone, trying to get that swing and miss. But at the same time, at the beginning of the year, the past 2 years, I've been throwing a little slower, and you don't get those swings and misses like that. It's a whole different ball game when you're throwing low 90s compared to mid to high 90s. You just don't get those swings and misses. It's foul balls and contact. So, I kind of learned how to pitch thin and, with a slower velo. So now that it's creeping back up a little bit, I can, just be like, all right, this is my best pitch. Hit it if you can type thing.
Why do you feel like that happens? Do you feel like you sit there and you need something? Kind of walk us through that, but also walk us through what it feels like to be mortal for a little bit, and then now you're getting back. I've been watching your games. I'm about 45 minutes down the road. Like you got that swag back. The pitch is finishing in the zone. So talk us through that.
Last year I had shoulder thing coming in the spring training and the flu that kind of held me back. I really didn't have a spring training at all. Kind of just jumped straight into the season and into games. I think I threw like 1 or 2 live BPs before the season even started, and that was basically it. And so I just got off to a slower start there velo-wise, and then once I got going, the velo picked up. And, once you're getting swings and misses, you're throwing the ball where you want it, and the ball is moving like you want it, you feel a little better about yourself and, I guess about your game. So, whenever you get in the swings and misses, like I said, it just makes it a lot funner, a lot easier, a lot less stressful, and I don't know, the game flows a lot better for you.
So when that's happening, when you're not pitching well, are you a bad husband, parent, brother? I always ask this because when I sucked, I was like, man, I'm not always sucking on the field. I'm sucking as a person. Or does it not go over to that part of your life?
I mean, I'm not happy, but I try to leave it here at the field. That's for sure. I know I'm going to be back out there in 5 more days. So that's going to be my chance to kind of redeem myself. And I know that you're going to have a few bad starts throughout the season. It's going to happen. At this point, I'm just happy that I'm out there healthy, pitching every 5 days.
How on earth do you guys have on this exact date, same games in? I'm sure you've heard a ton about it from the media and everything. How do you guys have the same record as you did last year at this time?
No idea. I couldn't
That's
tell
an
you.
easy question, easy answer.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we're just a little inconsistent at the beginning. The starting pitching, we weren't where we wanted to be necessarily consistency-wise and, just producing, during the game. So, we're kind of wearing out the bullpen, getting out of the game early. But, as the season goes on, you start, a little better and going deeper into the games and just getting that flow, that tempo that you need saves the bullpen, and you need those guys for the long run, especially our guys. I think we got, top 3 bullpen in the game. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know.
What music's playing post game in the clubhouse?
what is it? Dancing on Our Own, I think it's called.
Yeah, is
Something
it?
like that.
That was my question. So I saw that somewhere, and I'm like, is it back? Like it's
It's back.
a thing? Okay.
Yeah. Everybody at the beginning of the year in spring training were like, get rid of that playlist. It's second place. It's last year. You got to leave it in the past. You got to come up with something new. And we weren't doing too well this year, so I think somebody played it after a win, and we rang off like 6 in a row or something like that. So, it's good vibes. As much as old as it is, and as much as we've heard it, I guess it's working. So, you got to keep it going.
You seem kind of annoyed by it. What would you rather put on? Like, do they ever let you get the iPad? You got 10 years. Not many dudes got 10 years.
I stay away from that. That's not
all the time. You stay away from it.
Sometimes on my game day, I'll go and put something on that I kind of maybe heard a day or two earlier that I just want to hear. But yeah, I mainly stay away from it.
What is it though? What is it like? Are we going country? Or are we going heavy metal? Like I feel like you put off like a.
Honestly, I listen to anything. Old country, new country, rap, early 2000s rap when I was like in high school, new rap, whatever, Frank Sinatra, literally everything.
Love that. Hey, a couple questions about the game this year. So, for example, the shift has been severely restricted. I asked Matt Olson, lefty pull hitter, yesterday how much he missed it. He said, not at all. I know you haven't always been a huge fan of it. It's frustrating when it gets in the way of what you're trying to do game plan wise. So how much do you miss the shift?
I don't miss it at all. I hated the shift. I felt like I got burned by it all the time. I mean, it's nice when you look back and the guy's standing in short right field and he's catching a ball and throwing the guy out at first base. But, when Freddie comes up there and you throw him an outside fastball and he hits a ground ball where the shortstop's been playing forever, you're just like, come on. Like, I need that out against this guy. Like, I need that. So I've never been a fan of the shift. I like shading maybe a little bit more, but never the shift.
So I asked Matt this, and he hadn't answered. Did you have a where were you moment when you found out officially that shit was out of the game?
For what, the shift?
Yeah, like did you get a text? Did you read it somewhere, a headline, like, and do like a little, let's go?
I don't know. I don't know if I was anywhere in particular that I can remember. I'm sure, I said to myself, like, thank you, about time. But I don't know if there's anything more than that.
Okay, another question about a word that's being used very frequently this year that these guys don't love. I'm fine with because I think it does look differently shape-wise. Are you okay calling a sweeper, or do you stick to slider? Because we've had some players that are thriving with that pitch, but still say, like Chris Bassett, right? He was like, nah, screw that. It's still a slider. And then other guys who immediately are like, nah, I got to call it sweeper and slider separately. I got a separate slider.
It is a slider at the end of the day, I guess, but I still throw both. So I need to call one something else than the other. So I have a slider and a sweeper. Slider, I mainly throw down and into a lefty for like a chase pitch. A sweeper, I can throw to lefty or righty, and it's going to move more horizontal. So they move differently for me. If a guy is just throwing one pitch as a slider or a sweeper, you can just call it a slider because it is a slider at the end of the day. But just to, differentiate which one it is, I need both names. But I think it originally came from the grip. Somebody was throwing this thing and he was calling it a sweeper with a certain grip, and everybody started getting the grip and throwing it that way. And I guess that's where it came from.
All right. So where you probably started honing your sweeper, slider, curveball, whatever, who cares? You throw 99 at the top of the zone. This is where you started honing it. Last year, my son, and I don't think AJ's son played there, but down in Georgia, they got to play on the field with your name on it. What does that feel like to have your high school field have your name on it? And would it be cooler if you had your name on one of your rivals' high school fields because you owned them in high school?
I don't know if I necessarily owned anybody in high school to where we could do that, but it is an honor and privilege to have it on my high school's field. I worked very hard and put in a lot of time to, be the best that I could be. And, the coach there, Coach Boyd, recognized, I think he recognized that and kind of rewarded me for it. So it's always a privilege and an honor, to go back there and help those guys out and stuff.
All right, there's two other things I want to take you back to. So let's go pretty far back. Carlos Gomez was recently on our Legends Territory show, and he reflected on being on the other side of that Wilmer Flores deal. It like escaped me that you were part of all of that too. And I remember you had a conversation with the Mets about it. Like, hey, if this doesn't work out, like let's leave it. I'm good. I'd like to ride this out a little bit with you guys. What do you remember from all of that as we get close to the trade deadline this year? That's like one of the stories that stands out more than anything, because obviously Wilmer was in tears.
Yeah. So obviously Wilmer was in New York. I was rehabbing down in Florida, and I was sitting there watching the game, and I just remember all that happening. So I was just sitting down there. It's like, what the heck is going on right now? Because you know how trade stuff is. It's happening. It's not happening. It's close. It's not close. Medicals, this and that, everything possible. So, and you're not hearing anything, especially when you're rehabbing from Tommy John. You're just in Florida and you're forgotten about, so nobody's worried about you. So I was just sitting down there, just watching the game, watching it all unfold like everybody else was. And, I loved the Mets at the time, and I really wanted to be there. And, I thought we had something special with the starting pitching that we had, and I wanted to be a part of that. And so, me and Sandy had a good relationship, Sandy Alderson. And, I asked my agent, I was like, what do you think if I just, texted him or called him? Like, I don't know. I don't really want to do it, but I want to be here. Like, that's how bad I wanted to be there and just be a part of that. So I ended up giving him a call. He was very nice, open, and we just talked for a little bit and just told him how I felt, and he told me how I felt. I recognize it's a business at the end of the day, and that's perfectly fine. If you want to do it, you're going to do it. To help out your team, that's what you need. So I don't know. We just had that talk and just told him how I felt, and it didn't end up happening.
That's cool. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Say what you feel.
Especially when you're under team control, there's only so much you can do. Like you said, like you can't make the decisions for them. But then when you were a free agent, you could make your own decisions. So the other thing I wanted to ask you about backtracking was, how happy are you that you chose where you are now? Not just for the success of the Phils, the friends you're making, but I remember the story back then, there was like a little bit more cash offered from the White Sox. And you're like, I'm an East Coast dude, wife's fam's from around here. You feel even more happy now that you made that decision?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely haven't second guessed myself this whole time here. We had it down to 3 to 4 teams that we were kind of choosing from, West Coast, Central, and East Coast. And I think, just Philly, playing against them, being from the East Coast, being around family, and being able to go back home to Georgia and stuff. I think it all just worked out. The fans here are great. I saw that when I played against these guys all the time. I've always liked pitching in the park here. And, we went to the World Series, and that's what every player dreams of. So
Wait. What? White Sox? You turned down the White Sox for Philly?
I did, yeah.
Okay, this interview's over, Zach. I'm sorry. Wish you nothing but the best. This interview is now finished.
All right.
Explain that, though. This is when people say, oh, you always take the most money. You didn't. I didn't. I stayed. I took less money numerous times to stay with the White Sox because I was already there. Yeah. Explain to people why, yes, East Coast, but there are just certain things. Sometimes you're like, I don't want to go far west, or I don't want to go to the White Sox or wherever. It's a personal decision. And I don't think fans understand that all the time, because I remember when I was a free agent, people were like, oh, just sign with the Yankees. I'm like, well, the Yankees might not want me, or the Phillies might not want me, or whoever. So explain that a little bit more to people out there, because most casual fans don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a process, as you know. The Phillies actually came in really late, and we were already looking at houses in a few different places. And, I think it was Cincinnati and Chicago. We were already looking at houses there, and the Phillies came in late. And, I wanted to be on the East Coast at the end of the day, just closer to my wife's family for, help, because I knew we were about to start a family, and I could still get to go home to Atlanta 3 times a year. So I think that was the biggest thing for me. If the money was close in those situations, I was going to stay on the East Coast. and it was close enough for me to make that decision for me, and come to Philly. And like I said, I haven't second guessed it one time, signing here. So at the end of the day, I'm happy. But yeah, there is a lot of stuff that goes into it. Love Chicago, love going there all the time. Beautiful city, beautiful ballpark there with the White Sox. I enjoy pitching there when we go. But it's all about family and being comfortable where you're going to be playing for the next 5 years.
Last thing on this topic. So then, if you go back a few years, I remember there was the questions asked to John Middleton about you, and he had the boss quote. He was like, if they offered me Babe Ruth, I wouldn't trade Zack Wheeler. We call out owners on this show, like the great ones, and like John Middleton's easy top 3 for me in the game. Dude knows the sport. He puts money into this team. They take care of their fam, their employees, the whole deal, right? We've talked plenty about Oakland and that sham. But how cool was that to see from the guy that signed you?
Yeah, I mean, it is cool, but at the end of the day, I would have traded myself in a heartbeat for Babe Ruth. I don't know. I mean, that's no question. No, but, he's great. He, like you said, anything that we need in the clubhouse or family room or anything like that, he's doing it without asking a question. He'll ask how much or how many. He's great. It's been great. He definitely brought that spark into the locker room last year during the playoff run. It was pretty funny, watching him, as a different person as being like an owner. He would come in there, spray the champagne with us and all that good stuff. So he's a great guy and, definitely looks out for the Phillies as a whole group. It's awesome.
I'm a fan. Zack, awesome having you on, dude. Again, congratulations on 10 years of service. We bring everyone on to celebrate that. It's a big, big deal. So keep doing your thing out there, man. We'll see you on the field soon.
Thanks, guys, for having me. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Zack Wheeler from the Philadelphia Phillies, 10 years, hit the big mark. That was cool. Yeah, I was reflecting on a lot of things back there where sometimes also it's fun to look back and then also wake up AJ where the White Sox get dropped and he's like, whoa,
wait, what?
You turned down my alma mater?
Somebody who's going to play for my team? That is so cool. It would have been great. We look great in black and white. Everybody looks great in black and white.
Hey, listen, as a White Sox fan, you're just used to guys turning him down. But it's usually because they don't offer him enough money. So I was more surprised when they said they offered him more money. I was like, whoa, that woke me up out of my coma with you guys talking to him so much. So
all right,
wait a minute.
Let's pump the brakes. The Reds were also offering because it couldn't have been that much money.
No, but it was Hundo Plus, obviously, because he signed for Hundo Plus, right? So, no, it was.
The White
and
Sox
it would have been their
to...
only $100 million contract ever.
AJ probably came in last minute, was like, save the money, pay it to me as a assistant to the player general manager appropriation team.
I wish they would, trust me.
It was 5 years, 118 mil is his current deal with Philly, and it was at least in the 120s, which would have been the biggest deal. They have not gone close to that since. I mean, their biggest deal is Benintendi, right? And that's 575
for one.
Yeah. AJ, you're an East Coast guy. If you had never played in Chicago and didn't know what Chicago was about, would you have rather signed somewhere else? Like when were you a free agent when you first, or did you get traded to Chicago first?
I was a free agent.
Free agent. Where did you want to go? Like if you can think back, and it's nothing against the White Sox, where did you want to go?
Well, I had come from San Francisco, so I was like, let me get as far off this coast over here as I can and start getting back to my people on the other coast.
Yep.
Honestly, I had other offers that year that were for more money, but I ended up wanting to go to Chicago because I was in the Central with Minnesota, and I knew what the Central was about. I knew how good the travel was, and the Twins traded me, so I kind of wanted to go back and kind of maybe kick their butt, which we did that first year. Won a World Series, so there was some East Coast teams that were in on me, and I was like, Tampa was always a place for me that I wanted to play at some point. The two were Tampa and Atlanta. I got to play in Atlanta my last 2 years because spring training was in Orlando. It was unbelievably great. And then the other thing was when I was in Tampa was the one because you play 81 games an hour from my house.
That would have been huge. But that's the end of your career. When you're in the prime of your career, you're not thinking about playing at home. You want to play.
Dude, I was always trying to play at home. Are you kidding me?
I mean,
always trying to play as close to home as possible.
Once you play at home,
it's the mayor.
So much harder. You are the mayor of Orlando, yes. and this is one of your secretaries.
Yes.
But
No, he moved to Pennsylvania now. Congratulations.
Hell yeah, baby.
Off my payroll, on to Kratz's.
I'm
no,
a country boy
no.
now.
This is just vacation.
Yeah, this is.
This is
I told
vacation.
you, I summer in PA.
Yeah, he was on vacation. It's an all-inclusive resort. You get paid, you get to relax, you get some sun. The power might go out, so I'm not sure what country all-inclusive resort it's like, but you just never know when you're in these Caribbean countries like Pennsylvania and the Dominican
and the salmon is elite. Okay, so I want to hit in the weeds because Ty France is going to join us probably any minute now. So let's hit it. Okay, something that we didn't get to from earlier on in the show that many of you wanted to hear about was Gerrit Cole's performance. We watched it from start to finish, pitch by pitch, and exactly what you're looking at on AJ's screen is what is standing out to us. Gerrit Cole did a little Dikembe Mutombo, and originally we thought that he was looking at the batter. He was looking at Scott's service, which is awesome. A little back and forth with player manager, a little bit of fun. I'm all about it.
What led up to this? That's what you guys watched the game. Unfortunately, didn't get to watch that game. I was too busy watching guys slide into home plate, be called out, and be called safe for no reason. So what was it? Didn't he throw one over a guy's head and Scott Service yelled at him, and then Gerrit Cole's like, no, I'm just going to punch him out and walk off the field and give you the finger. Because didn't he strike out the side when he gave the Dikembe Mutombo?
Oh yeah, strikeouts 6, 7, and 8.
Wow.
The boys needed it. Appreciation
Banged
station.
It. Yeah, but
Let's
it was cool.
Let's get Gerrit Cole mad, Scott Service. That seems like a good idea. He's not good enough anyway, so we're going to piss him off and make him throw that even harder.
He definitely did throw it even harder.
He did,
but
he wasn't getting swing and miss as much early with 2 strikes. 2 strikes, they were on him. I mean, it wasn't great contact, but it was contact. He wasn't putting guys away the same.
And my guy Scotty was a little worried,
Mm-hmm.
and I told him, I said, if he gets any traffic, he's going to pick up 1 or 2 strikeouts. And then right at the end, I said, he's going to probably wear like 70 pitches, and I say he's probably going to about 110 pitches. He fell short at 105. And at the end, Garrett's like, okay, I'm going to start throwing cheese. And he punched out the side in his last inning. But the whole precipice was from when Caballero is a notorious. I saw a tweet the other day. He had like a 86-second timeout. Somehow he was able to keep, like he was in the box, waited until, and he always does it with 2 strikes. He waits until the pitcher's about to throw and he calls time. And then he strolls around the box.
It's legal.
He's very deliberate. All legal. It's his.
I like it.
It's his. The Caballero. He's the horseman, and he flips his bat up. Then he goes and he gets in the box partially, and Dan Bellino's back there waving it off so far, waving it off, and then he goes and stands in the box, and he finally is set, and then Dan Bellino gives this. And Cole goes 97 to the top of the net, just like Victor Wembanyama threw his first pitch. Garrett's was less close. And then it was, we'll see. You got no shot. I'm giving you what I got because these are my last pitches. And big fella got us 8 punchies for the parlay.
Yeah, parlay. Cole, he was fastball in the zone a little bit too much in the nitro zone a few times here and there, but it's one of earlier. That's why and if you have his kind of heat and movement on the heater, you can get away with that, right? And
you don't need to go to that's why Gerrit Cole's so good. He doesn't need to go to the smelling salts fastball every time. He doesn't need to go to the velo slap. He's got a 3-run lead. He's not going to pile up the strikeouts until now it's time. I'm emptying the tank.
But then it was right here every time. Top, a baseball or 2 above the zone. It's tempting, but you can't get to it. So one other in the weeds before we're joined by Ty France from the Seattle Mariners. More on that game and life in France. Shohei Ohtani trade update. This is coming straight from the source, not Ohtani, because he doesn't really speak to media. But the Angels general manager, Perry Manassian, said on Tuesday that the club's not trading him. And here's one of the quotes. I think anybody who has watched us play or looked at where we're at in the standings, I've said it before and I'll say it again. We like him. We hope he's here for a long time. It's pretty self-explanatory with where we're at. I agree. I mean, it's not a conversation regardless of his status and if you think he's going to leave. This team is 41-33. They've won 11 of 14 games. Shouldn't be a conversation right now. In fairness to the ball club, they're playing good enough to not warrant questions about the trade status of their best player. Agree?
100%. This shouldn't even be an option right now because they're not going to trade him. If they're in first place, they're in last place, they're 50 games out. Guess what the Angels aren't going to do? They're not trading Shohei Ohtani this year. They're going to let free agency play out, and he's going to walk that way. And they're going to get their supplemental, whatever, blah, blah, blah pick they get for offering him a qualifying offer and being like, yeah, the Dodgers gave me $7 billion ownership of the team and every piece of whatever they want, real estate or whatever, parking from Frank McCourt. He's going to throw in some parking money he's still getting. I mean, they're not trading him. I don't care. This is like to me, we're talking about in the weeds. This is an irrelevant quote because they're not trading him. So why do we even ask this question anymore? They're not going to trade Shohei Ohtani.
No, and that's the easiest thing it could have happened for this ownership. Because now if the team was terrible and they were like, wait a minute, 2 years ago, you didn't trade Shohei. Last year, you didn't trade Shohei. And now this year again, we're bad and you didn't trade Shohei. So for Artie Moreno, who I think is the one pushing that button,
of course,
Perry Managian's the one that takes his curly hair out there and he goes, well, we're not trading him. Yeah, well, no duh. Like, it's a mute point now and it should never be asked again. But they got to get something for him. They can't just take the second best pitcher from TCU because, they got an extra pick from the Shohei disqualifying offer.
They're not going to get anything for him because they're not going to trade him. What do you mean?
No. I'm saying, like, they should get something out of it. A playoff appearance.
Oh, yes.
They should get because I'm saying the pick that they get is not like they're not getting the number one pick overall.
No, they're not. It's a comp. I think it might even be a third or fourth because of the way the luxury tax fits. I got to look back, but it's not much. So.
It's not much. And the Angels haven't drafted real well.
No.
They 1 year they went all pitchers. Like,
most of them haven't panned out yet. But I will say this, because our next guest is ready. They're not making the playoffs because there's a team that's going to make a surge. I've been talking them up all year. It's coming, okay? Ty France from the Seattle Mariners joining us right now on FT Live. Ty, how you doing? And how challenging is the AL West this year, dude? I mean, Angels are playing good ball. Obviously, the Astros are always going to be the Astros. And then the Rangers have just been shocking the world, too.
Yeah, man, it's been a grind of a year. We kind of expected it though. Texas went out and made some moves this offseason, and so we were kind of anticipating this, but they've been playing good baseball, and the AL West, it's been fun baseball. It's been hard.
You see that?
You would love to see Shohei traded, wouldn't you? Because they don't got to face him pitching wise or hitting wise, because you're playing first base. And he's hitting piss missiles at you over there while you're holding the guy on.
And they don't let me stand on the grass anymore. That's the bad part. I used to play in the outfield when he was up. Now it's a ball if I do that. So he's one of my least favorite people to hold the guy on while he's up at the plate.
I never really played much first base, but in spring training one time, Prince Fielder was up, and they had runners on second and third. And I remember our bench coach was like, "Hey, Kratzy," he goes, "Hey. Come on in. I was like, no, you come in. This is spring training. I'm not standing anywhere close. Have you ever told Service or Tired Acta to come to, like, they bring you in when Shohei's up and you're like, nah, man. And you come out here, you play first base. I'll field it when it's done rolling.
Yeah, they'll tell me to come in, but I'll go where I'm comfortable. I'm not putting my life on the line right there.
Live to see another day. I love that.
Yeah. Ty, it's not mine either. It's the pitcher's run, so it's not mine.
Yeah, great. It's not your run. That's right. It's your life, though, that you want to protect.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That makes sense.
Exactly.
Ty, you were a 34th round pick out of San Diego State. You were not a very high pick. How'd you make it? You're like Erik Kratz. How did you make it?
Not like Erik Kratz.
No, I mean, I have to give a lot of credit to the Padres system, and once you're in there, they kind of treat everyone the same. They don't really. Yeah, your first, second rounders get a little bit more opportunity, but you just have to perform. You perform, and they rewarded me for that. So very grateful for them.
They rewarded you by trading you to Seattle.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of just blocked there. I love my time in San Diego. I learned a lot. Once they signed Manny, I kind of knew what my role was going to be. but I learned a lot from those guys, and finally got my opportunity to play every day, and very thankful that they did make that trade, because who knows where I'd be today if they didn't.
Oh, hell yeah. That's worked out great for you, obviously. All-star playing on a playoff contending ball club that was able to do something really special last year and get this team back into the playoffs. Thing I wanted to ask about while it's being brought up is the way that you found out you were traded. I remember talking to you about this at some point in the last year or two when I was with Yonder Alonso and we were chatting with you before a game. You're playing fantasy football, right? I'll let you tell the whole story, but I was just thinking in my head, I'm like, did you say, all right, I'll take Rodgers, and then they're like, you're trading? It's like, whoa, okay, you can have it. Never mind, it's cool, dude.
No, so actually, we were in Colorado. We had a Sunday day game to a Monday night game. So that Sunday night, we had our team fantasy football draft, and I was on a team with Trent Grisham and Greg Garcia, and they knew more about football and stuff. So I was just the guy who would cross the names off the list so we didn't double pick. And we got into I don't know, it was maybe the 5th, 6th round. And I felt a tap on my shoulder, and they had just made a pick. So I'm searching for the guy's name. I'm like, hold on one second. I'm looking for the name. Another tap. I'm like, hey, I said, hold on. And I finally find the name, and I cross it off. And then I look over my shoulder, and it was Tingler, our manager. I'm like, oh, sorry, Ting, what's going on? And he was like, hey, you mind coming to my room for a second? AJ wants to talk to you. And so I had been optioned a couple weeks before that. So in my head, I'm like, oh, crap, I'm getting sent down again. Go up there, and we call AJ. AJ doesn't answer the phone. So now I'm just sitting there awkwardly staring at Tingler, and he won't tell me what's going on. And I'm like, Ting, give me something, man. What's the deal? And he goes, just know it'll be a great spot for you. So at that point, I was like, okay, I'm getting traded. Finally get to talk to AJ. Tells me I'm coming to Seattle. And then once all that was done, I called my family agent. And then I was like, oh crap, I got to go finish the draft. So I get back down to the draft, and they were on their break, and I think they were in the 9th, 10th round. And at that point, it was just saying goodbye to the old teammates. And next morning was on a flight to Seattle.
That is wild, but yeah. all definitely worked out. And also I think the move would have been, you bring Tommy Pham to your next fantasy draft. So if someone's tapping you, say, excuse me, what? I got a little help.
Yeah, I'll let T Fizzle deal with it.
Dude is the ultimate security guard for fantasy football.
Fantasy muscle. Jace Tingler was your manager. That was my roommate in high A. Did you ever let him take BP as a manager? Because if you did, we used to joke that he would soak his bats in the hot tub because he had zero pop.
I'll be honest, I don't remember him ever swinging it. No. No, I think the most was a fungo, but I don't think he ever got in the box.
Okay. If it was, that would be epic. I mean, he would be making the shortstop go back on a couple fly balls.
Now your manager does a little finger wag, and then Cole does it back. Did you enjoy the theatrics in last night's game?
I'll be honest, I didn't even see Skip do that. So I didn't really know until after all of it was done, what had gone down, actually until after the game. But I first I thought he was doing it at Cabby, because Cabby's a little menace in the box. But yeah, no, it's just how the game goes.
Speaking of your manager, you guys have the Trident celebration. Your manager poo-pooed it when you guys first got it. You guys were giving out the whole, man, it's raised in the depths of Neptune. And then he's like, no, they bought that shit on Amazon.
Yeah, that's a conversation for JP Crawford. He's the one who went out and found it. So I don't know the whole story on it, but I'll tell you what, that thing's 50 pounds. That thing's heavy. It could do some damage.
Yeah, that's probably the best home run prop going, right?
Yeah.
Especially the Mariners, it fits Aquaman. They're like, some in the depths of the sea to come save you guys, hit homers.
Yeah. No, it's just pretty cool. I love the way the game's going when it comes to all that stuff. The teams are getting so creative with it, and it keeps the fans entertained. So it's been a lot of fun.
Hey, Ty, we have a video from last year when you got word from your manager that you were going to make the All-Star game. So I want to run that and get your little breakdown and thoughts on how that went and how cool that was for them to reveal it that way. So let's run it.
But I do have one announcement. We got another All-Star. You're going All-Star game.
Dude, that was fucking awesome. What's better, that or a walk-off?
I'm gonna be honest, man. They're both pretty special, but that was something that I'll never forget. At that point, because it was the day before the break, I'd kind of given up all hope on it. I was like, "There's no way." I had really high hopes going into like when the voting portion ended. I was like, "Oh, I'm for sure gonna make it," and then kind of got that crush. So to be informed that way and have the guys react the way that they did, I really can't put it into words. It was something really special.
When was the moment that you were like, I could become an All-Star? Was it during the season last year? Was it in the off season? Was it when you got traded? What was it? When was it?
I think it was during like the whole, like the season last year. And then during the whole like voting process, the first round, when I had made it to the second round of voting, that's when it started to I started to process it and realize like, okay, this could happen. Like this, this is something I never in a million years thought I'd get 1 million votes from fans. Like that was something that was so cool. Cause you as a kid, I grew up voting for guys, and like I was at Angel Stadium doing the hole punch ones, sending those in. So to get that many votes by that many people, it was something that was really cool. And I think that's when it really hit me that I had a shot at doing it. And then found out I didn't make the team, and that's just kind of crushed. And then, that I think that's why it made it that much more special is the last day right before the break. Having Skip tell me that I made it was, especially being in LA, grew up in LA, hometown guy. To have my first All-Star game there was really cool.
Yeah. So you didn't work out in the off season? Like, man, like the changes I made last year, like I'm getting a lot of burn. I'm getting 500 plus at bats now that I'm with the Mariners. Like, I feel like I could be an All-Star. You never thought that in the off season?
No, not really. I mean, obviously you set goals for yourself and you want to, set the standard, set the bar high. But, I wouldn't necessarily say it was something like I need to go out and do this. If it happens, great. I was more worried about 1, staying healthy, 2, just doing what I can to help the team win, and going out and putting up the best numbers I can, and letting the rest kind of take care of itself. And that's kind of how it unfolded.
Were you? Go ahead, AJ.
Ty, you made the All-Star team. You know who you replaced on the team, correct?
Yeah. He was my locker buddy actually at the All-Star game. So that was pretty cool too. Because like I said,
Mike Trout. Yeah, for the people that don't know, you replaced. So did you thank him when you saw him? Did you go up and say, "Hey, Mike, thank you very much for being injured"?
No, I didn't necessarily thank him, but just like I said, I was an Angel fan growing up, and when Mike came into the league, I was still, I think I was a senior in high school, so still a guy like I grew up, following and watching, and one of those kind of surreal moments when you find out who you're replacing was a guy you kind of grew up watching, so that was a really cool moment as well.
Who was the first dude you went up to at All-Star game, and were you like nervous or starstruck with anybody?
Dude, I wasn't. You don't have time to like be starstruck. There's so much that goes into that, and like I really didn't have like a second to unwind until literally the first pitch of the game because I wasn't starting. There's just so much that goes on and so much that goes into it. Especially I was added so late. It was rushing, trying to get things squared away. Very, very thankful for my wife. She took care of all the family stuff, all the tickets. It was a lot that went into it, but actually I wasn't so much starstruck by the players, but you're in that locker room with the best players in the game. And then Denzel Washington walked through our locker room, and that's when I kind of like stopped. I was like, whoa, that was pretty cool.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
He's an all-star.
Swinging by. Yeah. Well, it was in LA too. So last year.
Oh yeah. So they should have a bunch of
all the A-listers. So, but this year it's home turf. So you're in Seattle, and I don't know if he's announced it yet, but I'm sure Julio Rodriguez is going to be in the home run derby. I wanted to ask you an over/under question. Over/under 7.5 commercials that Julio is in over the past year now. Dude is everywhere. Every time I'm like in between games on the app, I'm like, oh, hey, Julio, what's up, dude? I memorized your line.
He's already hit the over on that. He already hit the over.
Do you guys have fun with him on it? Do you show him, like, we've talked to some of the Angels people that are like, Shohei Ohtani's got one of those commercials where it's
skincare, some lotion.
You got anything you guys are getting after him on?
I noticed when we played in Anaheim, he had a cologne out. They put it on the board. Shohei had his own cologne. I was like, I got to find out what that smells like.
Need it. I need it. Need a couple sprays.
Yeah, it's got a few extra homers in it. So,
is Julio the same dude, or is he walking in like, hey, I just signed a deal with whatever. I got free stuff for everyone. Commercials coming up.
Tasting himself.
He's the same all the time, which is great. Regardless if he is having his rookie of the year season or if he's struggling, like he carries himself the same all the time, which is, he's 22 years old, like 23. I think he's 22 still. That's hard to do, to be so mature at that age and with all the pressure that he's had. So he's gained a lot of guys' respect. And he's doing it on the field, off the field. He's a busy man, but he'll treat you the same no matter what.
So, Ty, I always respect the dudes that take a hit. In 2021, you led baseball in hit by pitches. Right now, you are currently the leader with 12. And AJ is a specialist in this category. He'll give you a little lean in. Yep.
He got one last night, too.
He got one last night.
That one looked like it hurt.
Yeah.
It barely nicked me, that one. That one got the
And you went to the dugout. You're like, yo, it got me, though. I earned that shit.
Yeah, because, I'll never really point to the dugout, but that one got me. I was like, I wasn't sure if he was going to call it because it barely, nicked my forearm. So I was like, just – because you know what? Nowadays, you have to, put your hand up right away in order to, be able to check it. So I was just letting him know, hey, it got me. But Dan, the home plate umpire, called it pretty quick.
Do you get amped up about that? I know Anthony Rizzo will be like, inject that hit by pitch into my veins, baby.
No, I wouldn't say I'd hit me. No. It's just one of those things that I stand closer to the plate. My hands are a little lower. Guys just try and get under my hands, I think, and they, miss arm side. So it's just one of those things that, since college, I've always gotten hit. So, it's painful, but I don't walk that much, so it helps in that category.
Hey, Ty, until you get hit more by pitches than you unintentionally walk in here, like I used to do, then you can tell Scott to shove it. And then second of all, the difference is I used to get hit on purpose. They're not trying to hit you; they were throwing it at me. So again, Scott, I understand.
You pissed a lot of people off. That's all it was.
That's okay. That's fine. You know what? If I wasn't going to walk, I had to get on first somehow. So I'm like, okay, fine, throw it at me. I can take that one. Otherwise, you got to stand up there.
I think I'm honestly, I want to say just over 20 hit by pitches away from the Mariners' all-time record. So I'm right there.
Let's go. That, you know what? That's something you don't want to shoot for, but when you have first in something, let's do it.
I'm that close. I might as well just take over the top spot.
Will you keep the ball?
I would love the ball. Yeah, that'd be great.
You have to keep the ball.
Yeah. Last year, or I think it was last year, whenever I set the single season record, I gave the front office my elbow guard to put in the Mariners Hall of Fame.
That is epic. That is so cool.
That is awesome. Evo Shield for life.
Yeah.
Hey, so let's finish with your modeling career in the City Connects. How do you think you did? How was the shoot? Did they have to do a million takes, or are you like a one take, great smile, and go play your game?
No, it was pretty smooth. I think I killed it. It it was pretty cool because we didn't know what to expect going into. They could have gone a bunch of different routes with the City Connect. So like there had been rumors that it was going to look like this or it was going to look like that. So walking in, I think everyone was pretty excited about them. And overall, I would say I did the best in the photo shoot. I killed that.
Yeah, for sure. That's what our polls say. We haven't gotten a final. You definitely looked the best. They didn't have any relievers in there because all your relievers are good looking too. So that would have. Do you guys have the best City Connect jerseys? Or if they're not the best, who has the best? Who's the top 3 for you?
I like ours a lot. I like San Diego's, even though I don't get like San Diego vibes from them with that. I get more Miami vibes with that. But I think it's just cool and out there, and they did something different. Colorado's, I like their green, the green in theirs. And I think Miami did a good job as well.
Okay, last one for real. We have Seawald on Friday again with us. He joins us every few weeks. What should we ask him? What's something weird he's doing lately?
If you want to make him feel good, you can talk about the Knights and their victory. You could let him know that San Diego State's better than University of San Diego. That'll get him fired up. That's all I got.
Knights, actually.
Oh, that's perfect.
That reminded me. We will ask him about that. We got some Vegas talk.
He's a big Rams fan, so you can mess with him. Be like, hey, are you an LA fan? Are you a Vegas fan? You need to make up your mind on what fan you want to be. So you can go that route too.
He already sold you guys out. He was like, yeah, I would mess around with ending my career in Vegas in like 5-6 years. Like, yeah, screw that. Mariners will have a good run, and I'll do 1 year in Vegas.
Just like AJ just said.
Yeah. True. Hey, Ty, this was awesome, dude. Great to have you on. We appreciate it. Keep doing your thing, man.
Yeah, of course, guys. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Ty France, the All-Star, with us on FT Live. That was great. And that reminded me, actually, Vegas Golden Knights. They did win the Stanley Cup, and Paul Sewald is a big Vegas guy. I know Bryson Stott got a lot of love. They get a lot of the Vegas.
Spokesman.
Yes. Chris Bryant.
Also a spokesman, less of a spokesman.
Well, not a little more shy.
But he was, yeah.
Yes, used to be more of a spokesman.
Sewald needs to step up.
Yes, and he will on Friday. We'll see him. Let's slap hands. It's crisp. I didn't hear you say ball, AJ.
Every day he says it.
What do you mean?
During slap hands, you didn't say ball.
Oh, because
You've changed now that Scott's
what
left.
happened, dude?
You've changed.
Yeah, I'm losing confidence in my framing ability.
My framing ability. So 2 things. Number 1, the latest edition of Legends Territory is out now. If you want to hear Ron Gardenhire, former Twins manager and other roles in the game, talk shit about A.J. Pierzynski, then you can give that a listen, tap in.
Welcome to the club.
Right. He is a valid member of that club. He had a lot to say about a number of topics, including why can't the Minnesota Twins beat the damn Yankees? So Apple, Spotify, YouTube, the whole deal. Legends Territory is a vibe always. So check it out. And also he talked about letting Big Papi go, which was
not he didn't want to.
No, he did not.
He pleaded for him, and then he was like, well, you got to watch it.
Yeah, managers do not get to make that decision. And lastly, do we have the Stroman tweet? Can we show that? Do we have that in the arsenal still on the menu? No. Okay, we'll show it tomorrow then. Stroman clapping back at some people. No surprise. So
Need it.
Yeah, do your thing, Stro. Kratz hats.
So yesterday I had a hat. I'll have to recirculate it, but you got rained out. So I had my USA North Carolina hat, Cary, North Carolina. So today we just went Yankees. Since I did the game yesterday, Yankees spring training hat, which the reason I wore it was because the spring training hats now suck for bald guys because they have all the mesh on the back and bald guys can't wear mesh. So you put the hat on in spring training, it's sunny Florida, sometimes it's at 4 o'clock every day, it rains. And your head gets absolutely scorched. So whoever created those hats, stop, go back to these. These are nice, full mesh spring training hat.
Also, by the way, in the Yanks logo, what is that? The Yanks logo Yankees. In the Yanks logo Very pro. Very
Hold
pro.
on, before we go, I got to wish happy birthday to two people. One, Rick Camp Putcliffe, happy birthday. And two, The Bake Show. I don't know if you guys ever played with Jeff Baker, one of the most sarcastic, funny dudes of all time. No. Jeff I think it's Jeff Baker, the infielder.
Oh, no.
No, I hope so, because The Bake Show, nicknamed the guy who got 10 years on Saturday, Brad Hand Smokey, one of my buddies. So I hope it's you, Bake. And if it is, happy birthday.
And Adam Jones back with us tomorrow. Eloy Jimenez joining us tomorrow. And some of the Sandlot casts from the movie. So, AJ, are you out? Is that why you're out tomorrow?
It's 50-50, depending on the weather.
Ooh.
Depending on the weather. If the weather's not good, then I'm going to miss out on Pinehurst #2 to come hang out with you fools.
Stay tuned for an update on social from AJ if he'll join the show and talk to his boy Eloy, and he'll have to watch Sandlot tomorrow morning if they're joining us. Yeah, Eloy's joining us.
Eloy.
So. See you Thursday on FT Live.
Hi, Mom.